vehicle. This is something from NMI, and again here to me the story is the gap, right? On the one hand, you know, the money to live on, the money to retire, money for health care, financial health, these are key goals, high concerns, etc. But the level of satisfaction with these things is significantly, significantly less. So how are those gaps filled with products, services? Where's the social entrepreneurial solution for these types of challenges? Again, this confirms some of the stuff that Steve was sharing with us, that Posit Science has been focused on. You know, what are the biggest concerns that people have? You know, it's, you know, losing your mind. That's really what it comes down to, right? So losing mental and brain capacity, and we're seeing that these numbers increase. Restricted mobility, running out of money, and or just, you know, health challenges like heart attack or stroke. But here's the key thing, and this is what gets back to why the focus in Washington is on the issue of healthcare costs. Because people are concerned that it's a healthcare issue that's going to challenge their financial wealth, right? And the numbers I've been seeing is that 60% of all bankruptcies are due to a health crisis. So it's not just a pipe. Look at this, let's look these things in here. This is the interesting part of this. I never know what my secretary's done. So this is the flip side of it, is that, you know, boomers who are not on target with their financial plans, there's a correlation with worse health. Okay. Another aspect is this need to stay independent. These are things, there's a percentage of adults saying that this is the last thing that they're willing to give up, right? And look at the difference. I find it fascinating that the 18 to 49-year-olds is only 13% that focus on their cars and driving. They're more attached to their cell phones and BlackBerries. Maybe that means they can call Silver Ride or something. But, you know, when it comes to the 50 plus, it's that car. You know, and having been driven off the road into a ditch in Naples, Florida once by a little old lady who's driving like this and couldn't see above the dashboard, clearly holding onto the car longer than it necessarily should. The other two things, interestingly, here, in terms of differences between the age groups, keeping that, you know, access to the television and going out to restaurants. There's a need for social life. There's a need for social activity. This is where you also get, on the one hand, the focus on what I want and the delusion of what will be possible. So on the one hand, huge numbers across the age segments in the 50 plus who say that they want to stay and age in place. But look at these numbers at the bottom here. You know, 61% of the 65 plus, 56% of the 55 to 64 think it is very likely that they will indeed stay and age in place. And that makes all sorts of other assumptions about health and wealth that are certainly open to question. What I have not seen data on is what the percentage is that has. And, you know, what percentage have actually gone into nursing homes or moved in with family and things like that, and that's an area of research we're looking at. And then, of course, there's online. If there was something here that upset me most was that even amongst our members, only 22% of them come to our website, whereas 50% go to Google. The nerve. But they are using technology, right? 74% use it to stay connected. They're comfortable with it. They're constantly connected through cell phones, email. We had a conversation last night about cell phones, and while I haven't been able to really teach, nor have my mother how to text, not even her grandchildren have been able to do it, she knows it's important now. So now she asks me can you Google XYZ? Can you send someone, make a text? It's like, sure, Mom, anything more. But technology is becoming more and more prevalent. And what are people doing online, right? They're looking at healthcare issues. These are the numbers of people who say they use the internet a little or a lot to do the following. This is all healthcare related, right? This to me is, just symptomatic of that focus on health and wealth. And here's the other interesting thing. Facebook and YouTube, the growth in 1 year from, did they ever visit it, but now visit it regularly. Up 6 points on Facebook, up 8 points on YouTube. Again, these are things that a lot in this category didn't even know about. It's just like this year, all of a sudden, Twitter, is now, I guess a noun and a verb. Okay, you hear people say, you twit. It's tweet. In any case, they might have thought about the branding help. But in any case, it's now becoming known. It's in the papers. The front page of the New York Times today, or actually it's on the continuing page 10 of the New York Times today, has the article about how the State Department asked Twitter not to go with its usual maintenance so that the people in the streets in Tehran and Iran could continue to use Twitter to communicate about demonstrations and things because cell phone usage was being shut down. Just absolutely fascinating. And then just some data on continuous learning. Roughly 10% of the 50-plus population are doing some type of adult continuing ed. A lot of this is, at the local high school, the evening classes. It could be academic, it could be artistic, etc. But the fact is, Elder Hostel's built a nice little business, right? Over $200 million in 2007. And then you just see some trend lines here, about the increasing numbers of older back-to-school students. Not huge numbers in absolute numbers, but it's a trend. So when you look at this, how do we pull it all together? Well, for us, we start with who our member is. And for us, our members are slightly different than the 50-plus as a whole. They don't believe that old age begins until 71, unless you ask a 71-year-old. They're likely to feel that it's important to have choices concerning their health decisions, likelier to feel that their emotional and stress levels are better than 10 years ago, less likely to feel that their life is out of control. We skew slightly higher in education and slightly higher in income than the 50-plus as a whole. But then it's